Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have buffed SYLAS in the jungle. Now I have made a SYLAS video, this season already, but it still has not been nearly as good as it has been in the past because Riot simply said no when we said, why can't we have SYLAS jungle? This was way back in 2019 season 9. Really has not been a feature since then, but every now and again there are some buffs, there are some changes, there are some meta shifts that allow him to kind of be played in the role. Is this going to be some sort of power meta pick, hidden OP? No. Alright, we've had a lot of those lately because the meta is quite diverse. But in this video, we have two games for you. I'm going to show you how SYLAS, with those buffs to his W and his E, cooldown specifically on both of those, plus, of course, healing with an AP ratio buff on the W, and naturally a mana cost decrease on the W as well, is huge in the current meta because the longer the fights, the more rotational spells you can have, and those mana costs become quite important as your resources get depleted. Oh, resources, there's a bit of Sean Connery coming through there accidentally. Now, obviously, you saw there a level 1 invade. It's great with SYLAS because we do start with E because E1 plus E2 equals 2 passive procs, twirly whirly auto attacks, which helps us a little bit with those clears. There you go, there's 1, and there you go, there's 2. Now, back in the day, when we had the shield on the E, that was even better. Now, obviously, they have nerfed the bonus damage to monsters over time, and so many things have shifted from SYLAS, shifted from his kit since those, meta jungler days. But in this first video with Acadian, obviously challenger level game, I want to show you the Snowball potential. Now, when you're a slower clearer, right, especially against things like a Hecarim or anything else typically meta, you have to think deeply about your 3-4 camps and what you're going to do about them. Because this is one, right? Krugs into Raptors, and I'm kind of just keeping it on him rather than looking at lanes because we did lose our flash on that invade, unfortunately, but you can go for those plays. A Hecarim, let's just look mirror, okay? We won't see this, but you can have a look here just to get a good idea of the relevant tempo, versus sort of a more meta style jungler. There we go, he's drifting at 228 into the thing, and then of course you hit that at 230, and SYLAS is decently behind. You're looking at something like 236. If he was dragging it, 6 seconds behind, which it's not too bad, but it's definitely sufficient that, with his HP being significantly more depleted, you couldn't match the full tempo. So what we can do is say, well, let me do the red side and then invade him knowing that he's sequencing top to bottom. Now, if Hecarim was sequencing bottom to top, we wouldn't want to do this, right? We wouldn't want to do this because then there'd be nothing for us to fall back to and we'll lose our top side. But because we did this, we can have prior on ganking bottom lane knowing that we already burned the Nautilus's flash level 1. So abusing those summoner spells, First Blood, SYLAS, that's exactly what you want with this champion, by the way. 3-4 camp, into lane action, get ahead of tempo versus the enemy jungler, and now of course you have Scuttle Provision over here, which I don't know what that means, but let's, you understand what I mean. Now hopefully, Hecarim has brain. Hecarim has no brain. We do miss our Q, unfortunately, but we can keep going. We do have bot prior, we created it. NA junglers, your server is by far the worst at dying for this piss crab. I know you want it. I understand. I get it. I know we want to beef up our challenges. Well, I know we want to beef up our challenges. I actually just whacked the mic there because I was kind of using my hands as one does. But, no need to die for that. However, the side is excellently done, but we are significantly behind on CS now. Obviously here, we're going to use our Chains of Destiny to move into the river, okay? Try and get there first using the fact that we have some prior here, and we know that the Hecarim will most likely look to come on down to this. We know that because he did a full clear, around your 420-ish mark, the second tier Krugs will come up, but it's way too early for that, so it's 100% going to be a fight in the river. But SYLAS loves this. You're looking to skirmish, you're looking to gank, you're looking to get involved, you're looking to 1v1. We are down a level, but we have Leeching Leah. Do we want Leeching Leah? The second game I will look at it is more of a SYLAS one-trick. He prefers the Rocket Belt tech, but you can of course go a variety of things on this champion in terms of itemization, but you can see here the destruction that is possible with your W. E over the wall, and you can E back into the gangplank, beautifully done. And of course, most pro players on high elo junglers, W, close. That was a weird noise, but that's because if the W is up, you get that beautiful heal. And in this particular case, he's taken W second, and I think that's crucial. In these fights here, and you level up in a fight, make sure you take the spell. It's going to help you in the fight, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense. So the one trick that we're going to look at in the second game, it'll be timestamped for you because we know they're both shorter games. he will go 3 into Q to maximize farm potential and then max W so that he can start fighting and using those leads. But the map scaling and the fluidity with the pick, it's so fun. It's so good in the jungle. He suits the jungle. He's a good AP bruiser skirmisher that we like to snowball with. It's really a snowballing pick, and that's kind of what I want to drive home in this video, is that you're not looking to FK farm and chill. You're looking to be active. Now, do we need to fall back to our camps? Yes, of course we do. We need experience. But in that case, you know, when we're in the middle of a fight, you're not going to level up your Q, you're going to level up your W so that you can get cooldown benefit, right? Because remember, you get cooldown benefit as well. But at the same time, the heal allows you to sustain significantly more in that fight, and that's the thing that was just buffed. Now, in this particular case, good early game, forcing the Hecarim to really play high tempo against us. Solo kill top lane, beautiful, obviously nice and fed from the fight in the river. We go up top side to clear down, okay? Okay, we've lost our Raptors, let's go scanning, which means we know that Hecarim has had his hand in the SYLAS jar, and of course the 2 chains of pain and punishment are going to say, no. So we're going to W smite that to make sure we can do that. Now we're just going to fight him. Watch the bot lane rotation. Akshan has prior. Akshan's ulting. Oh, nicely done. Queen's applause. And that's the kind of stuff, those reads that you're looking to make. Oh, the chains, it's so fun to watch back and forth. And now you're just really in the middle of the whole team disrupting. And the W's up way more often than you would think. You know, it's such a strong ability, you kind of wonder, like, you know, should it be up this much? And the cooldown benefit, 1 second, you might think 1 second isn't huge. Why would you take that, Akali? Why would you move back in? You shouldn't. And that's because people are disrespecting SYLAS. And that's why it can work in the jungle right now. I've been playing a lot of weird stuff lately that doesn't fall clear. I've been looking at 3-4 camps, cutting, double crabbing most importantly, not so much for the experience, but of course it does help when you can't AoE camp as much. SYLAS, of course, can AoE camp, but the gold is nice. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? The gold is important for early spikes that allow us to farm faster. But the map scaling from SYLAS, look at this. It's why Wukong became so just utterly broken with the W buff. Allowing him to go over walls is, it's a jungler's dream to be able to move through terrain frequently with CC and have self-sustain. So in terms of those players who prefer a high pressure style, video on the main channel coming tomorrow, by the way, that will be live if you watch this at any point beyond the first 24 hours. I talk about your 3 camp ganks, I talk about your 4 camp ganks, and I talk about camping lanes. And SYLAS is very much a jungler that's going to want to do that, okay? So how do we keep the snowballing going, and can we see really the power of the pick? Now, I faced it mid a few times, which got me thinking, wait a second, I can't deal with this. No, what it was, I just cannot deal with it. What if you could just take him in the jungle and get fit that way? You negate the need to really CC him. Look at this. He just used all of his abilities, he weaved in those auto attacks, and then he stole his ult and killed him. And he was just one-shot almost in one rotation. As one-shot can be in the current meta. We use our E again to gap close here. Chains move, he dodges it, we hit that, we get the slow, we get a little residual burst proc. Darius is super low, so would you like a push, my son? A little bit of Noxian and anti-Demacian synergy going on here. There we go, let's push a little bit. Akali MAA, bot lane's using the lead you gave them. This is the dream. As a jungler who doesn't want to AFK farm, you get all your lanes ahead, you skirmish well, and you beat everyone almost 1v1, and all of a sudden, you can start running away with the game, which is why the second one, it will be Snowball, but not as much, right? There'll be a bit of a different vibe to the game, so we'll speed this up a little bit. Now, we do technically want the Herald, but at the same time, if you feel like if you don't really need it, you know, like you can just kill people a lot and push towers, you can go for that. I mean, you can see here your team doesn't need it. You do kind of want to give... And of course, notably, you can steal ults, which everyone knows, but it's all of a sudden the enemy team comp isn't such an issue. You know, how many times do you play an off-meta jungle and go, well, they have a Shen, well, they have an Ornn, well, they have anything with a strong ultimate, and you kind of think, well, that sucks. But with SYLAS, you go, and then you use it against them. And you probably laugh like that as well. Now, in this particular case, obviously we reset, we got our Rift Maker. I do technically prefer the Rocket Belt. You know, there's not really enough data to kind of delve deep into the numbers and things like that from the jungle position specifically, but it is nice to have that added mobility for you combos, and of course HP and the bonus damage. Yeah, that's all super good. The built-in sustain for Rift Maker synergizes nicely with the inherent kit, and that's why you kind of like it if you really want to go fisting. So here in this particular situation, Most likely you'll lose a dragon in low elo as your team int anyway, and the enemy jungler takes it. The Herald's a big thing, so we can use it. And bust open the map. We take that, Rakan roams, but we're just looking really at the power spike of the champion and the damage you can do. The stun, plus some ability, plus of course the auto attack weaving with your spells, it's a nice bit of damage. And the ultimate stealing is obviously just huge. I mean, look at this. Do you care that he was in the jungle? He has 67 CS, he's only down 3 CS. And you'll find a lot of these off-meta junglers like SYLAS and the other ones that I play, yeah, we're weak in those early phases for clearing speeds, but eventually it doesn't really matter. The whole goal is to elevate the game state to the point where it doesn't matter that you're the jungler. You could have been a mid laner roaming, top laner roaming. You're just so resource infused, okay, that you can do whatever you want on the map. And that's essentially what we want to do even with SYLAS. So we don't quite break open the top lane there, but again, we can go out of base here. We're looking at the bot lane. Akshan is roaming from the mid lane. We can stitch these two together absolutely fine, as you can see. We have our 5 points in W, and in fact, we're going E second in this particular case, and we're not even going for that Q, which is an old school ganking, skirmishing SYLAS jungle build path, ability path, because you just want the mobility and the stuns as much as possible, and you don't really care about the need to have clearing with your Q because you just kill everyone so quickly now. You kill everyone so quickly now, and with your W, you kind of do enough damage to clear, right? And you're passive. With your W, you're passive, and your E getting double procs of it. You kill enough people. Sorry, you kill enough camps. You kill enough people too. And essentially, that's this game in a nutshell. We're gonna jump to the second game in a second. He just ends up rotating the map, you know, pushing the leads, setting traps, things like this. They end up pushing up the bottom lane, I believe, because I just wanted to scout ahead. Whoops. And they just push it down, you know? It's really a good example of using that 3 camp for pressure, for tempo control. It just frustrates a farming jungler when they can get nothing going. You're creating the prio you need, bad shutdown, but they just end up FFing and that's the game, right? So let's jump into our second game. Okay, in this game, we're going with a master one-trick SYLAS, well, not one-trick, but main for sure. Basically, we do get a first blood here as well, but you're noticing these are 2 separate players, right? 2 separate servers. This one's on EU West, and they're looking for level 1s. It's huge to get a level 1 with your chains because the stun is meaningful. I mean, top lane's AFK, and if a lot of you will remember earlier in the year when I was trying to look for, you know, your standard clears, how difficult was it for us? We found so many games with invades and level 1s, and it really did impact the game. Now, in this situation, it's not going to change our game plan. It's not going to change anything else. It's just going to change how much they need to respect us. But as you could see from the last game, does it matter? I mean, the amp tome is juicy and disgusting, but does it really matter? Now, the 3 pots here is interesting. Now, obviously, we're going electrocute gaming, all right? We have cookies, which is great from the jungle in terms of absolutely no point. So this player is not a Challenger Pro player. An old Challenger Pro players, I think I never even finished that point, ADD brain, know how to play SYLAS from them back in the day. They had to learn it for pro play. But the cookies, the extra pots, I don't think we really need it if we're going to be highly active. If you're looking to full clear, maybe. But obviously in this particular situation, Alawi's late to lane. We have bot lane showing here. We have a Lee Sin against us. So we're just having a look. Yorick shows up with some mana missing. We know he was leashed on the red. So we'll be sequencing down. Now, if you wanted to do the same thing as you did, we did in the previous game, you could. Could go Krugs, Raptors, and cut the Lee Sin. But the Lee Sin is more likely to be an invadey, annoying kind of guy and try and steal you or kill you on your blue. So it's better to have a more conventional start, and high-pressure jungling doesn't always need this sort of cut map stuff, you know? Lee Sin's obviously going to be going down looking to gank this straight up. It's a Zyra Vayne lane, which I appreciate, you know, as a Zyra main, I would love a gank here, but it's Nautilus Misfortune. We're going to get poked out. We don't have the range advantage. We don't have the all lane. We need level 3 to gank. So hopefully Lee Sin thinks about the fact that his bot lane needs level 3 for the gank. However, SYLAS in the meantime has gone and done the classic Red Raptors Gromp 3 camp. I don't know why he's dragging here, which is why I'm just going to pause it for a second. If you're playing this kind of pick, and if you're playing something like a Zyra, any off-meta jungler, right, and you don't really need the HP, like the pots and the cookies, like this is obscene. You really don't need this if you're throwing in a Gromp. Get a control ward. Put the control ward here and have peace of mind. Just have peace of mind from the invade. No stress. No stress. And if you're doing something like where you can't do this, right? A red Raptor's Grump is your level 3. A red Wolf's Grump is exactly the same clear, level 3. You don't have to Raptors. Raptors is just a nice high traffic zone free take, but the Wolves are a bit more valuable actually, so making sure you can get these is also fine. And then you can flip blue if you need, or you can gank and then fall back down. I kind of like to flip the blue because the 4 camp's kind of good. I don't like 3 camping too much at the moment, but just buy the control mode, man, if you're going to have cookies especially. Peace of mind, you're not getting invaded, and now look for the gank. But ideally, you're seeing the same thing. 3 camp into action, 3 camp into action. That's what we want. Syndra kills the Galleon, moves on down, we see that. Hello, Yorick, how so? And of course, we throw the Q to force him to flash, and then of course we can flash W, and he dies. How bad did that look? Did that look bad to you? Did that look unviable? Did that look like something that's useless? No, it's good. It's strong. And Electrocute there, huge, okay? Electrocute is good for your burst. Lee Sin shows bot lane. In the meantime, obviously he has a kill. They killed the, it actually did work on the Misfortune. We're not paying attention to it, but it did work. And now we can counter jungle the Krugs because of this, which is a great secure for us. And you see, it's not really... That's a respectable Krug speed. It's not amazing, but I mean, there's some meta junglers that struggle with Krugs, but are great with everything else. So this is lovely. And of course, now we can go and snack this baby. E allows us to remove the shield, which is juicy. We know Lee Sin's most likely doing this. We know we're most likely going to be losing some sort of Raptors. And of course, if you're tracking CS as you should be, you can keep your eyes on those numbers. Hello, Lee Sin. Here we go. 20 CS, which means a 5 camp. But we know we took his Krugs, and we can, of course, if we see him first, know he probably didn't do his Raptors. So we trap Lee Sin with a predictable play, falling back to the only camp he has on the map because he thinks he needs to go back to base. And we're going to do... Ooh, nice attempt, you see? We go in with our E, we force the flash. You can bait out other spells. You know, you can make them think you're going to use your E2, but you don't. You use your Q, you use your W, and then you use your E2 after the flash. Important for SYLAS jungle ganking etiquette to mind game your E usage a little bit. But it's really strong. It's really, really strong. And we're going a bit more Q max here than the last one, which is W, then E. We're going to go Q, 3 points, then max the W. And then, of course, you can finish Q or finish E as you like. Whatever your playstyle enjoys. We get a bit mana hungry here. The cookies, again, no point in maybe wrong runes, but he's a 1-trick, so who knows. Definitely could have been chugging those anyway. Yorick pushed up. We get the proximity assist with some experience. Wave is good. We say good. Lee Sin goes down to the bottom side. Super low. Hasn't reset. And as an off-meta jungler, we like that. Because when there's no pressure, when we can just take the camps idly and gank lanes effectively while avoiding a jungler that might annoy us or kill us, that's exactly what you want. But SYLAS, as you can see, is pretty good at fisting. And chaining. PG-18 video. Now, Lee Sin goes down here. I would expect him at this point to reset, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him try and gank again, knowing that he might have a bit of tempo advantage over the SYLAS. But if the SYLAS went back to base and is now looking to counter gank this, there you go, he shows. He does try to do it exactly as we kind of predicted. We burn the exhaust, we swap targets, but we tank a tower shot, because why would we do that? Obviously, there's a big difference between the challenger game and the sort of D1 master tier elo we have here. SYLAS is now going to go clear some vision. You should be straight up counter ganking this. There should be no reason why we don't see this as soon as the Lee Sin shows. You know, like, it's way too late. So there's a player pilot issue in this situation. We should have been moving down long ago. Long ago. This should be your double and triple kill, okay? So do keep that in mind. Let's have a look. Maybe we can still pick up some pieces. He did see it way too late. I mean, that's great for your bot lane. Can we get something, though? Bonk. So at least you get something. But, I mean, I think we should be 4-5 at this point. Hey, Misfortune, going to help you absorb some level 6. So, are you noticing a pattern? Because it's very similar to how I would play Kai'Sa jungle. No joke. I do need Noon Quiver to farm, though. I don't have the same skirmishing power, obviously, because I'm an ADC and I'm a weak ADC early. But if I can get 2-3 kills early, if I can fall back with a Noon Quiver for my AoE camps, the CSing goes up quickly. Whereas with SYLAS, you're not looking to necessarily straight up farm 7 CS a minute. 6 is fine, 6.5 is great. If you have less because you're perma-ganking, it's okay if you've got a good win rate, but then again, watch the main channel video where you kind of understand the tempo required for that playstyle. But the point is, when you get fed early and you get huge itemization spikes, you must use it to get into lanes. Now we have here a 2v2 top lane. He misses the Q. Bot lane sees us, which means they're going to ward here. This is a risky counter jungle. I understand why you see jungler top lane, you're thinking, hey, maybe we should go fighting. Excuse me, counter jungling, maybe fighting also, but because bot lane saw you and they actually have prior on the grub, it's a little silly and risky to go for these moves, unless of course you have smite and you know you can survive. Nautilus decides to roam, the one Nautilus in the entire world who misses a hook. That is a pathetic Zyra ultimate, you do not want to use it like that whatsoever. And of course we detach. Now Lee Sin's going to show up. Right, Syndra's gonna show up, so we have to hit the plant. That's very good. Hello, sir. Zyra's playing with fire there. E of the wall gets rooted, but Nautilus actually makes up for that hook, and we kill the Zyra. Now, Vayne is a little bit chunked, and the fact that Lee Sin shows up, here we go. We're looking to fight, so let's see what we can do here as SYLAS. With this particular itemization spike, right, basically Dizza from my Discord on Lee Sin, apparently missing that Q. We use our E to reposition, flash over the wall, hit a bit of detonation damage on the Q, very, very nice. Nautilus is tanking everything, Misfortune hasn't realized what's going on. Syndra kills the Nautilus, Galio's moving in here, right, here you go. We get the shield from Galio, W gives it the heal. We hit the W, we hit the E, we get the CC. Get the kill, Galio does good work on the bottom side. We're waiting for our E and waiting for our W. Oh, that is a lot of vision. Maybe we should just call it a day. You could stick around and do the blue, but if they see you and you're that low, a little bit more risky. I hate these control woods in the pits, by the way. Like, this is such a dumb control wood. Why don't you just put it here and clear it? And then they have to walk through it the next time. I mean, this is dumb. If you see him walk down, you'll know he's doing it, you know? So it's a low elo control wood there. Please don't place that. Right. However, we are 501. Now we have Rocket Belt. We can take camps very, very easily here. We use our E. That was quick. So let me just show you that again. Because this is the kind of stuff you can look at. We have Rocket Belt, right? So you can use your E to minions, kind of like Echo. We use our E. We max change onto the minions. We steal her ult. We use our Rocket Belt to gap close. We use the rest of our spells, namely, of course, the Q and W. We use a bit of those auto attacks, and then we ult the Syndra, and she dies. We reposition again. We hit the Chains of Destiny. Galio comes back in. We're waiting for the W. It is up, but the fear goes through. That means one W is a deadly sin. Look at that power. So you don't need that many resources to turn it online. And that's why it's absolutely off the chains, in my opinion. I think this is, if you're going to play an off-meta jungler, this is the hidden OP off-meta jungler. It is not by any stretch of the imagination, I think, going to be straight up meta, because the cliff speed is too bad, and the risks involved in ganks and sort of high elo play, and probably become, you know, a bit too high, a bit too difficult to measure against farming. But for off-meta jungling, I see no reason why you can't use this pick and have great success. I mean, this guy is a Master Tier player. He will be getting Master Tier again with this champion. Why can't you get Diamond with it, which is a 99% of you, you know? I see. The Crab dodges all. The Crab is the best player in the game. I will not be convinced otherwise. Now, Yorick is using Supreme Strength on the top lane. We throw a bit of South African in there for no reason. We see Syndra overcommitting, so get chained. I mean, now he's basically mid lane because Galio's dead and just running around like the bird he is. Galio's fried chicken. And they're pushing this, which is expected. What I would have liked to have seen, but you saw in the last game, was a bit more Herald secure, but he had no issue taking the Herald. It's a little slower than some, but it's fine. He's such a good skirmisher and brawler that you really want to be doing that. And if you're AFK farming with SYLAS, I think no SYLAS main is anyone who's going to go play Curthus. You know what I mean? Like, why would you play something so remarkably boring that's farming? You want to be fighting. You want to be out-sustaining. You want to be turning fights. You want to be chasing things down. You are 2 levels up on the Lee Sin. He's 151. He's absolutely made useless by you. The chains are beautiful with us slows as well. And then, of course, the 2 chains. No, well, shit happens. But the point is, I'm just trying to showcase the absolute strength of this pick. And it snowballs so hard. Really, that's all you're looking to do here. You know? I don't like the overall diamondness of the video, the diamond/Mercitudeness of the video, but of this game rather, but I think it's good to look at a game that maybe, while they're better players, let's not kid ourselves, than the majority of you, but it's representative of the games you're in, right? Skirmishy, missed skill shots, mistakes, toting fights. That's typically the case. I mean, in a lower elo game, they're smurfing it, right? They get 40 kills a game, but in this game, when they're against people of their own skill level, you can see and kind of think, right, I see how SYLAS works in this environment. This is representative of my games too. Thus, I think I will be a SYLAS main. Let me know in the comments if you think you want to play SYLAS, because the mobility for me is off the chains. It's just so good to see this level of mobility around the map. And the farming is actually fine. Like, we go 3 in Q now, 5 in W. No dragon secured, which I think is something you kind of want to think about. He obviously isn't as fluid as a Cadian will be, you know, challenger jungler, knows kind of how to push the map, push into the jungle, go for the dives, push this. You know, there's no kind of falling back to camps. You're just immediately looking to make plays. Yorick, can we make you maidenless, please? Here you go, thank you. You've left your top lane for some peculiar reason, so let's do that. The maiden is Yorick-less at this point. And now we can move on down and perhaps secure a dragon, but if we see some fightings... Hello, Lee Sin. Long time, no dead. Can we make you dead once more? Disrespect here, noticing that, hey, Galio and SYLAS were mid lane. I'm going to go for this gank anyway. Galio's just going to ult. SYLAS is repositioned. Nautilus repositioning. SYLAS hits the chains. That's a dead Syndra. Lee Sin's going to go in. That's a dead Lee Sin. The power is strong with this one. Zyra's coming to the bottom lane for some reason as well. Yeah, I think that's a dragon. That's an objective angle. Let's speed it up because obviously we've got 2 games in this video. Fall back to the Krugs. Zyra goes to the bottom lane again. Now we're basing. Obviously you can go straight into Lich Bane. As I said, I noticed a lot of diverse itemization when I was scouting all the various SYLAS jungle players. Zhonya's is obviously a good one. But he likes Lich Bane, so there's there's a lot of variety in terms of what you can go. You know, maybe that's a topic for a main channel video at some point, talking about this itemization. I didn't really want to go too much into it because 1, I'm not a SYLAS one-trick, and 2, one-tricks always have their own particular way of refining a champion. You know, Electrocute, Rockabelt, Lich Bane is obviously great, but default SYLAS mains might not have success with that versus just going a bit more sort of death caps, you know, Zhonya's kind of stuff. But then again, when you can do that, why listen to me? Copy his build as you wish. Lee Sin, hello. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I love watching Lee Sins get destroyed, and I love watching Lee Sins get kicked against walls. Rockabelt, E-Chains. Excuse me, let me click. What do you want me to say at this point? I just want to say, look at the power. Why are people afraid of playing off-meta junglers? Because they can't full clear. It is dumb. This whole thing about, hey, he can't full clear by 2 minutes 53 and he's gonna get lapped. Like, it's such a stupid way of thinking, man. The game is dynamic, the game is fluid, the game evolves, and if you can catch up your farm, you see per minute later, you can do it 100%. SYLAS is one of those champions, and it irritates me when someone's like, doesn't full clear, therefore it is not a good meta jungler. I mean, even in high elo, it's not true. You just saw 2 games where that was the case. So we're going to go ahead and go back to base here. I'm actually going to pull up, while we do that, I don't normally do this, but I think we got a good Snowball here. Let's actually take a good look at the win rate data, so we can be a bit more sort of educated about it. I did look at it before, but unfortunately the play rate is so minimal. It is absolutely so minimal, and the win rate isn't that good. You're seeing a lot of Everfrost too, as a most played thing, obviously. Some Ludens, Night Harvester, Rockabelt, Leandries, Riftmaker, Crown, and of course your Frostfire Gauntlet. Literally all those mythics are being built in SYLAS. So when I said your item diversity is a choice, I was not kidding you. But the best win rates for those interested, Night Harvester actually, since the buffs, 90 AP is very, very good, as well as the Leandries and Ludens, interestingly. But obviously the Ludens is something that gives you penetration, much like the Rockabelt, but it also enables your clearing significantly more. And if you're going with a W max, you know, you get the AP, you get the penetration, you get the mana, which of course we need for clearing, but you also get a lot more clear speed indirectly as a byproduct of that. So that's good. And obviously you got your Cosmic Drive, you got your Zhonya's, Shadow Flame, Death Cap, usual things. But the mythic thing is, for me, as I said, I saw a lot of variability depending on the SYLAS player. I love it though. I would go ahead, if I loved this playstyle and I thought, hey, you know what, from this video, I want to play SYLAS jungle, I would go ahead and try a whole bunch of them to see what really fits well with the way you play the champion. Second as well as first. And that's the kind of stuff I love in a champion. Why I love any champion I main has item diversity, you know? Even Zyra now. That's why people are like, well, the item reworks suck. I said, no, it doesn't. Before, I would just be hamstrung into buying Leandries and Rylers all the time. And then, of course, for the longest time now, you were buying Leandries plus Zhonya's because you had to have Zhonya's because of the damage in the game. But now, you know, I feel very comfortable going things like Luden. Against Assassins, I love going Night Harvest. And, of course, Leandries is always good. Was just nerfed, but it's still good, you know? So yeah, hopefully you can draw your own conclusions from that. I just wanted to cover some of the data. Was not lying when I said, because there's only like 70 games played per item, you know, so you're not really getting a good metric anyway. Right, we pushed the top lane here, and I think this game is definitely over, so I don't really think we need to concern ourselves too much with that. We take the second Herald, and then we bust it down mid lane. So let me know in the comments what you think of SYLAS jungle. First clear, red side into a gank, into an invade is very, very good. A red Raptor's Grub is very, very good as well. You've got a lot of choices in terms of your max and your ability. You can really mold your own playstyle from this, but remember, high tempo, high pressure, high aggression, not AFK farming, and make sure you're using that map scaling to the best of your ability, steal ults appropriately, and of course kill Vaynes, kill Lee Sins, and kill any other cringe champion in the game, for you are the Chains of Destiny. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did. New main channel video, lots coming in this week as well as next week. Best junglers should be on Friday. Zada GG guides for life companion goodness, all linked below, and as always I will see you all in the next tutorial.